Good morning, Blue Devils.
This morning, we're live here in the studio honoring the memory of those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001.
Will everyone please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
To begin our memorial service, Ms. Brown, our principal of Huntington High School, will give some brief opening remarks, followed by a poem written by Rachel Huth and will be read by Dalton Flynn.
Today we gather as a school community to honor and to remember. September 11th, 2001 is a date that lives in our nation's memory, a day when the ordinary turned to extraordinary, when tragedy struck and heroes rose. For many of you, the day is something you've only read about or seen in videos, but for millions of Americans, it is a day they will never forget. The phrase never forget is more than a slogan. It is a promise. It is a call to keep alive the memory of nearly 3,000 lives lost, of the first responders who charged into danger, of the families who endured unthinkable grief, and of the unity that bound our country together in the days that followed. Our duty here today is twofold: to remember and to teach. We remember so that those lives are never reduced to just numbers in history books. We teach so that new generations not only understand the loss, but also the courage, compassion, and resilience that define that day. So let us pause together in silence, in respect, and in gratitude. Let us honor the victims, the survivors, the firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and ordinary citizens who became heroes. And let us renew our commitment. We will never forget.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. You're welcome. Never forget. They say, how could I forget? I wasn't there that day, or during the days that followed, when the ash hung in the air and America stood at a crossroad. Still, I wasn't there. I wasn't born for 7 more years. I didn't feel that pain, the fear and anger and tears, the lives lost in vain. So when I was asked to write this, I was a little bit surprised. Me, write a poem about a tragedy that isn't mine? What insight could I have? What could I possibly have to say to speak on the behalf of those that were there that day? Nothing is the reply. There's nothing I could say, so I won't even try because I wasn't there that day. But even though I wasn't there, the horror of that day is still around, everywhere. It's never far away. It's there when you go through security. It's there in our deepest fears. It's there when you drive in the city and your parents' eyes well up with tears. It's there in the silence of September when the flags all fly half-mast. It's there when we remember how everything changed so fast. So though I can't claim that sorrow of those that were there that day, together we move into tomorrow, each person in their own way. So the saying never forget isn't just for those who saw. It's a promise we all inherit, to honor, to grieve, to stand in awe. Never forget, they say, and I will never, even though I wasn't there that day.
We are all grateful every day for our first responders, especially on September 11th.
Blue Devil or not, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all past, present, and future first responders and those serving in the U.S. military.
Thank you so much to all of the people who are serving in the armed forces.
Thank you for your service.
Just want to say thank you to all the first responders that helped us on 9/11 and have continued to take care of us from then on. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to broadcasting. And we just want to say thank you to all the first responders who was there. And they didn't have to be in just uniform. They were people who responded without uniforms. And we are grateful for those folk who were able to respond and help try to conserve and save lives. God bless you and we thank you.
Thank you for your service.
We want to say thank you to all the first responders, all the firefighters and the police, men and women that responded at 9/11. It was a very vital day in our history, and they did a great job. And we show nothing but support for them and their families.
Hello, Mr. Levy here. Want to give a big shout out and thank you to all of the first responders on 9/11, back on that day, that fateful day, September 11th, 2001. In particular, FDNY Rescue 1. Big shout out. You guys paid the price, the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you.
Next, we have two of our high school trumpet players, Liam Lavertu and Donna Garcia Martinez, who will be performing taps.
There were so many lives that were changed that day. We will now hear a poem by Nancy Mercado, read by senior Sophia Van Arsdale.
On their daily trips, commuters shed tears now, use American flags like veiled women to hide their sorrows, rush to buy throwaway cameras to capture your twin ghosts. Frantically, I too, purchase your memory on postcards and coffee mugs, in New York City souvenir shops, afraid I'll forget your facade. Forget my hollowed Sunday, morning path train rides, my subway travels through the center of your belly. Day after day, afraid I'll forget your powers, to transform helicopters into ladybugs gliding in the air, to turn New York City into a breathing map, to display the curvature of our world.
What a touching poem, Sophia.
It's crazy to think that the day started out as any other school day for some of our Blue Devils.
I know. I can't imagine sitting in class and hearing such a tragic news.
For Miss Stanzione, she was just starting her life in college. Everything was normal, like moving into dorms, participating in events, without parents around. Her first week of classes was the week of 9/11. She was finally able to sleep, and after waking up at 6 a.m. every day. But not that day. Her friend came into the room screaming, "Someone hit the towers!" Since they had limited phone and TV use, they crowded in one area with other students and watched everything unfold. It's stories like this that stick with us forever.
Our team went around the school to learn about some more memories of that day. Let's take a look.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
I'm Mr. Levy, and I am the chairperson of social studies, and I've been in Huntington for about 25 years. I was right here, right where we're standing, in this very hall on the second floor, and the school year had just started. Mr. Graber was a new teacher. He and I were walking together, and we heard about the attacks. We tried to get as quickly as we could to a TV, and we got there, and then we saw what was unfolding.
I was in 11th grade. We had an AP bio trip out east at a wilderness camp with no communication from home. So while the attacks were happening, we had no idea. Around 1 o'clock, the superintendent and principal came out with buses and told us all basically to pack up our stuff. Something really bad had happened.
During 9/11, I was in my first year of teaching 3rd grade at Flower Hill Primary. I heard one of the librarians saying something that a plane had just hit one of the towers.
The the son of my sister Ann and my brother-in-law Greg. And Greg Pryle was on the pile. He was down there. He's a fireman, New York City fireman. He wasn't there at the actual attacks, but the next several days and months, he was there on the pile, digging, trying to find the remains of anybody. My nephew Danny was about 10, 11 years old, and he was so taken and inspired by his father and the situation of our country that he vowed to join the military, and he did just that. He went into West Point, graduated in 2012. My godson Danny served in Afghanistan as a helicopter pilot who pulled out the wounded in the war zones, and unfortunately we lost him in 2021. He died in a helicopter accident. So it's affected our family very much. We miss him a lot. But we know that he served our country.
You know, it was very difficult. We had some kids who unfortunately lost some family members. My father had an appointment in one of the towers that morning and actually wasn't feeling well and overslept. He said that, you know, he woke up, didn't even turn anything on the TV. He just ran out, was trying to just, you know, run down there and, you know, get there as fast as he could. And he told me, he said when he came out of the subway, he said, I thought I stepped onto Mars.
I had several classmates, folk who I've known since I was in elementary school, who was there, and some of which passed away during that time. I had athletes whose parents were there, and fortunately for them, their parent survived.
My dad, I can definitely say, like, when this time of year does come, my dad's like, it's a hard day for him because if he didn't go to work that day, he would not be here. So I guess, like, yeah, like realizing that, or like realization that he wouldn't have made it out.
That was like my second year in the country, and it's crazy how life works because the year before I had gone to visit the Twin Towers and I had gone all the way to the top with a friend. And then for that to be happening, it just felt very, very surreal. And then I also had like a lot of friends that families were affected, family members that worked there. So it was just very, like I said, surreal, like it didn't feel real. I'm sure that you're gonna hear this a lot, but everyone really was like coming together a lot and like looking out for each other, and you could feel it. You could feel the energy and just kindness and like everyone looking, crying. I hated that.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to our choir teacher, Mr. Colasanti, and the entire chamber choir for that beautiful rendition. We will now observe a moment of silence to honor the many lives lost on September 11th.
time of remembrance, I want you to think about what never forget really means for you here today as a student and as a member of our school community. It's about more than looking back at history. It's about how we choose to live each day. We honor those who were lost by the way we treat one another, with respect, with kindness, and with courage to do what is right even when it is hard. We honor the first responders and the everyday heroes by stepping up for each other when we see someone in need. And we honor the spirit of unity that followed 9/11 by building a school community where everyone feels safe, included, and valued. Let this day remind us that we all have the power to make a difference. The best way we can remember those who were lost is by being the generation that chooses compassion over division and hope over fear. Together, we can carry the promise of never forget forward, not just as a memory, but as a way of life. Finally, I would also like to say thank you to everyone who made this memorial possible. Mr. Colasanti and the Chamber Choir, Dalton, Sophia, Liam, Dana, and of course, a huge thank you to Mrs. Temperino and her amazing advanced broadcast journalism students.
Bye, Blue Devils.
Thank you to Ms. Brown. We are lucky to have you as our principal.
And thank you all so much for tuning in to our live 9/11 memorial ceremony. You may now move to